Barthes' very first text, or at least it is presented as such in the complete edited works, is entitled In the Margins of Criton, Platon's piece. It is a short fantasy fiction in which homosexuality plays a key role. It's written in 1943. In this fan fiction, you will see why it's a fan fiction, Socrates refuses to drink the poisonous hemlock and escapes with his students. What makes him change his mind is a fig, or that is to say, the sex. Barthes very explicitly states this in a 1974 text when the pastiche is republished. So I quote, "Or was hidden behind the fig the sex, as the Latin says fica?" This very short story from 1933, describes a homoerotic tableau with a happy ending and playfully introduces a very classical background which is subtly subverted, the Greek lesson, from which one had to emerge to guess, and I quote again, to guess elsewhere through a little bit of niche, a bit of statuary, some picture of Nauplia or Aegina, that Greece could be sexuality. End quote. Fairly transgressive scene seems to be set, full of code to decipher. Even in Barthes' most Marxist book, Mythologies, some small mythologies of the month evoke shared tastes in the homosexual male community. Firstly, the wrestling match. So this is Why begin a book on a petit bourgeois myth and making with this popular leisure activity? It is first and foremost, as the biography states, Tiffaine Samoyau, a very personal and regular activity that he enjoyed, especially in 1955, with a certain young man called Michel Foucault. So they just used to hang out together and go to the wrestling match. So when you read when you reread Mythologies tonight and think about Foucault reading over the shoulder what Barthes was writing, it's more tasty. His taste for the theater was already well known, but this sporting performance offered something more and even led him to become an advisor on a film set for Michel Brault, a pioneer of direct cinema. I had a question on cinema. That's also another response I could give from Quebec. So the theatrical explosion of virile violence, while remaining ambiguous, had a lot to do with the star of the time, Tauvin. Unfortunately, I couldn't find a picture of Tauvin, and I'm sorry, because it would be interesting. So now I quote Barthes, whose type of a sexual hideousness always inspires feminine nicknames, as Barthes states. The match is a sexualized but reversed fight, entirely queered by the actors. There we meet, I quote, Régnier, a tall blonde fellow with a limp body and unkempt hair, the moving image of passivity. Or, I quote again, Arsano, an effeminate teddy boy, first seen in a blue and pink dressing gown. That doubly humorous of a vindictive salop or bitch. That's in Mythologies.